Hey everybody, I'm Marcy,
I'm Chris.
and together we make this Team Sullivan. Today we're really happy to share something exciting with you, something that means a lot to us personally, and that is about how to make love last for a lifetime. We have an icebreaker question. You can drop your comments into the chat. The question is,
If money were no object and you could plan the perfect romantic day, what would you do?
that's a great question, Chris. What would you do?
If money were no object, go to the mountains and relax on the porch.
That sounds lovely. I know I would definitely want to travel, but if you only had a day to do it, I don't know where I would go. I know if we could just snap our fingers and go anywhere, it would probably be to Alaska or something like that, because that's something that neither of us have done together. But what would we do? You said on the porch, and me in Alaska. I think I like to try new things, and who knows, maybe we go dog sledding, or depending on the weather, we'd go, I've never even been in the snow, so that would be awesome to just make a snowman, ride down a snowy hill. All of those things sound awesome to me.
Sounds cold to me.
There's a man who's experienced the snow. All right, today we are talking about understanding the 3 components of love. Did you realize there are actually 3 sides of romantic love? One side is passion. Passion is the part that all relationships pretty much start at, romantic relationships that is. It's the physical side, the biological side of romantic love. The attraction, chemistry, physical desires. The second part of romantic love is
Intimacy, the emotional component of love. That's we do that through connection, vulnerability, and feeling known.
right. And the final side, it's like a triangle, is commitment. Commitment is that willful component of love. It's our choices, our decisions, the long-term loyalty. That is what is going to produce that lasting love. So we talked about passion, talked about intimacy, and then the final part, commitment. Now we have another question for you.
Which component of love is the most important to you? How about your significant other?
Okay, well, I'll start first. I think the most important part for me, that's hard. I know we have great commitment, obviously 28 years together, and I'll tell you, our passion is still there. I think intimacy means a lot to me because I really love to know deeper questions, deeper things that are going on, not just the surface level stuff. How about you?
I like doing things together. Yeah, that means a lot.
Right, so that's another part of intimacy. Now, we've mentioned to you already that we have SYMBIS, and that stands for?
Saving your marriage before it starts.
Right, and
That was very important to us when before we got married. We read this book, and this is the book that came out, the Saving Your Marriage Before It Starts. And since that time, yeah, they didn't have the assessment, but they have an assessment you can take, which covers a lot of different areas. And this assessment, this is like our assessment, and so if we offer that, where we can do that, facilitate that assessment for you to go through it, and So this could be for um, someone who's just thinking about getting married, premarital counseling. So this would count, for example, here in Florida, if you get your marriage license, you get a discount for going through marriage counseling, premarital counseling. So this does that.
Yes, that's great. And I'll tell you, the reason we love it so much is it's laid a wonderful foundation for us, gave us realistic expectations of what a marriage could be like, talks about roles, it talks about finances, it talks about family relationships, and so many more things. So we really highly recommend taking the SYMBIS assessment, which is an online thing. And if you're interested, just message us and we will send you the link to take your test. There's separate tests for each spouse or engaged couple. And then when it's finished, we will talk through the test with you.
There is a charge for that.
Yes. So how do you cultivate each component of love? Chris, you want to lead us off with passion?
Okay. Passion, that's especially important to women, and it could be very simple things, just tender touches, things like that, and it's holding your hands when you go out, holding your hands at church, putting your arm around her, things like that. But very simple, coming up and giving a back rub, and just very simple things.
Chris is great with passion. Intimacy. Intimacy is especially meaningful for men. As Chris mentioned, he likes doing things together. That is what will communicate intimacy to your man. If you've ever had trouble getting them to talk to you, it's easier for them side by side rather than face to face. So if you want to talk with your husband, find out what kind of activities he would enjoy doing. It could even just be a nice long road trip. There's opportunities to talk, whether you go for a walk or you play a game together. Those are the ways you're going to build intimacy. Our final part is commitment.
And that's both partners get into the commitment part, and that's prioritizing time together. And a lot of that can be expressed by going to weekly date time, getting away periodically, things like that. But you have that commitment where it's understood. That's a very a good way. Date night, regular date night during the week is a very good time, and a lot of times it's very good to plan it.
And also really time together can be sprinkled in throughout the week, can't it? Not
Right.
just one night a week or one day, but any time that you can find to just spend alone with one another, to connect, will strengthen that commitment.
Sure.
So we have a couple more questions for you to reflect on. Our next one is, what idea shared tonight did you find most interesting and why? Now, I think in the comments, probably a lot of you ladies are thinking about, wow, that's how I can get him to talk to me? We just need to go do something together? Wow, that must be really eye-opening for the women. Maybe some of you guys were wondering about that tender touch. You know, it doesn't have to be sexual at all to make it really meaningful for the woman. And then commitment, again, I think we all probably knew that that is the way to strengthen your commitment together. Because when you've ever been away from each other for a while, or life just got so busy that you haven't had time for one another, I'm sure you felt that gap. I'm sure you felt the distance there. What's our next question, Chris?
In your love right now, which component feels the strongest and why? And so that component is going to be passion, intimacy, or the commitment. So which one of those feels the strongest?
Right.
So that could be depend on the couple. On
Yes, that would be
and the
different.
time. Maybe different stages you're in right now, different things like that. But the point is, it's all a complete triangle. It's all complete. You're working on all of them at the same time.
Right, all of them are important.
Yeah.
And we all need to be intentional about it. All right, our third question is, what's one thing you can do this week to nurture passion, intimacy, or commitment in your relationship? We've given you some ideas, but now it's time for you to run with it and think about what is it specific for you as a couple that you would enjoy doing. Maybe it's karaoke, maybe it's axe throwing, maybe it's fishing. I don't know, but that could be some of the things that would strengthen your intimacy and your commitment for that matter, because you're doing things together, you're spending time.
And you could kill two birds with one stone and wash the dishes together.
Ooh, I like that idea. All right, our final question.
Why do you think it's important to remember that love is constantly changing and growing?
It is important. I've heard before that throughout your marriage, you're actually married to several different people. We all change with the events in our lives, the just our maturity level. So many things play a part in that. And so understanding that sometimes when you have more time for each other, maybe you will feel a little more passionate. Other times, when life is really busy or the kids are small and need you a lot, it might be harder then.
Yeah.
But just understand that just because you don't feel as passionate or you don't feel as intimate doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the marriage necessarily. Nothing that a little bit of time and a little bit of intentionality couldn't put back right. But we do need to listen to those warnings, don't we?
Well, the bottom line, you have that commitment. And if you're committed to each other, that means you're on the same team. You're going to work together for the common goal.
Very good. Yes. Commitment and connection will make your love last. So our final thing we'd like to remind you all of is our SYMBIS assessment.
So your love style is one of the most insightful parts of the SYMBIS assessment. So if you think it's very insightful and helpful for you, we want to invite you again to take the assessment with us, and we'll just message us, we'll send you the link, and when you complete it, we'll set up a time to walk through results together, and you can apply them to your relationship.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us for our first live